Greetings, lords and ladies, Kaiser here, and welcome to another episode of our Mountain Blade Gekokujo Daimyo Edition Let's Play. Now, I've already done everything I said I would do. I went all the way to Hamamatsu and Kakegawa. I sold all of our prisoners. We got about 9,000 mon out of that. I bought a bunch more food. I'm pretty sure that I completely bought out Kakegawa. So this should last us for at least a little while. And also in Kakegawa, I checked out the castle for any potential lords. Now we are already back on the battlefield and are gonna head towards the first target, possibly being Nike Castle. Now here's the thing. Good God, there's a lot of you guys. I mean, in a way, I suppose these guys are, yeah, that doesn't matter. In a way, all of these guys are very good potential recruiters for us, you know? Because as soon as we kill them, look at all those units that we could potentially recruit from them. Plenty of peasant women in order to train them into elite onnabushis, and all kinds of other units as well. Units that are no longer available to us, by the way, due to all of the clans already being destroyed and whatnot. Now, let's go to Nike Castle. But yeah, I was gonna ask, look, there are 12 lords in Kakegawa, and not a single one of them, not a one, is either good-natured or martial. Every single one of them is either pitiless, debauched, I'm just gonna keep calling it debauched, or, faction eliminated, Ikoiki is no more. Well, it took you a while to figure that out. Or, Great Lord Saito. Why, hello there! I forgot his name. Saito. Dosan Saito, that's the one. Though that's a fake name, I think, but still. Mr. Dosan Saito, don't you dare running into Nike Castle, we're gonna catch you. But yeah, so my question to you guys is, what do you think? Should we sacrifice a little bit of the stability in our country by, what? Recruiter Kanazawa has been defeated near Matsukura Castle. Good God, damn it. Great Lord Saito, you don't even know me yet we've been, you know, communicating via letters and everything. How? They know me as Great Lord Otagawa. Mark it down, you shall be hearing of me a lot. Great Lord Saito, the ruler of Saito clan and the lord of Sasayama Castle, Inabayama Castle, Sasayama, Sakigahara, and Nagakute. That's quite a lot of land. And that's coming from me. But yeah, you won't be lord of those things for long, trust me. You have something that belongs to me. Oh, you want even more? Of course you do. Iwamura Castle, I will make you relinquish it. Good luck with that, because we're about to kick your butt. Kinda hoping we didn't start the battle. Oh god, this is... What? Enemy casualties. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Do we like this battlefield? Where is the enemy gonna come from is the question. They're gonna come from that hill over there, I think. Maybe, possibly. Or are they in that little... Yeah, they're in that little... Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. New battle. Oh, God. Please let them be far, and please let this hill actually help us. How far are they? Not far enough for my taste, but it'll have to do. Okay, so apparently they're sending their cavalry straight at us. I'm absolutely fine with that. Let's get them. That's him. He's down. Alright, as soon as you get him... Good. Position back. Don't head into their army. Let our gunners do their thing. Not all of them are doing their thing. Position them a little bit further. I damaged the horse! Oh, they want to head after our cavalry? Alright, we'll kite them a little bit. Absolutely fine with that. Our infantry are doing fine. That's a Ah, damn it. He started walking forward. There we go. Alright, so that's an officer down. Hello, goodbye. That's another officer right there. I was tunnel visioning a little bit there, so that was dangerous. Ow. Something hit me, not sure what, and I missed that. Alright, infantry, back. Those guys, right, I forgot to keep kiting with them, but they're doing well, they're doing fine. I'm just hoping we don't sustain too... Oh, come on, how did I miss that? I am hoping we don't sustain too many injuries, because I do need these guys to fight in the siege as well. What are these? And why are they still alive? Oh, come on! Am I really so bad? Alright, let's position ourselves somewhere else, guys. Somewhere else. Don't just stand here. Don't get pierced. Don't get Morgan pierced. Hey, hey! Alright, maybe we should order a charge. I'm so glad these don't serve like normal spears. In vanilla Mountain Blade. Alright, they're already backing off. They're already broken. So, guys, come back here. The gunners are still doing their job. Excellent. Their skirmishers think that they can handle our skirmishers. Honestly, I feel sorry for the infantry. They're getting the brunt of the shots, and they're not being allowed to do anything. So one unit is there. But yeah, do you guys think that we should recruit some calculating lords just to boast our numbers a little bit? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Because it appears that if we just wait for good-natured and martial lords, we're just never gonna get any because they keep going to other clans, even though we are very, 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 very honorable. And of course, they're not just gonna leave their current clan to join ours, at least not good-natured ones, as we noticed with Lord Toyama, whom we had a very good relationship with. He knew that we were honorable. He didn't have that good of a relationship with his current overlord, yet he decided not to join us. So getting good-natured lords like that is going to be very, very hard. So what do you guys think? Should we go for the calculating lords or should we not? Like, maybe get like 1, 2, maybe 3 of them, considering... Wait, let me actually just tell you the numbers. Out of the 12 lords that are still in Kakegawa, Lord Tori is still a very big question mark because he was not part of any clan. Good God, everybody charge. Apparently there's still 1 unit somewhere. 2 units. But yeah, Lord Tori was not part of any clan while we were checking the lords out, and even though he would, technically speaking, appear as a member of the Otogawa clan, I can't check him out. Like, I cannot check out his character, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, so he's a very big question mark, no telling what he is, so let's just get him out of the equation. Alright, so we already outnumber Lord Saito 2 to 1. We're gonna take the same battlefield. It was pretty good. Relatively good. Our horse, I believe, is still fine. He didn't get lamed or anything like that. Hopefully. But yeah, out of the 12 lords... Let me pull up my notes right here while still commanding our units to possibly not lose track of them like we did in the last bout. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 12 lords are calculating. Now, of course, we're gonna leave the debauched and pitiless lords completely alone. We don't even want to look at those, let alone think about possibly recruiting them. But as far as the calculating lords go, what do you guys think? There are 6 lords currently in Kakegawa awaiting recruitment, awaiting acceptance, that are so what do you think? Do we take them? Do we maybe take like 3 just to boast our numbers a little bit? Or do we keep the lords that we have right now and hope that eventually, as we destroy the Saito, as we destroy the other clans, some good-natured lords would actually come about. Keep in mind that the more lords we have, the larger our armies with which we can actually do things get, even though, granted, the AI doesn't exactly tell the lords to follow our commands, which is a little bit of a bummer. Not a little bit, but a very big bit. But yeah, still, the more lords you have, at least the more chance that the lords that you do have might listen. You know, even if only 50% of your lords listen, it's still, like, if you have 8 lords, it's still 4 lords in comparison to our current 2 lords that always follow our commands. So tell me what you think about that in the comment section down below. It took me exactly 10 minutes to get this question, or almost 10 minutes to get this question out of myself. Sorry about that, quite the build-up, plus the gameplay. But yeah, tell me what you think. And I also promised you guys some history during battles and whatnot. And I've been thinking, where should I start with the history, you know? And decided that the best way to start would most likely be to introduce you to the world of samurai. By explaining how exactly the samurai not came to be, but came to be so powerful. How the samurai came to power. How they became the ruling class in Japan. And in order for me to do that, I must take you 1500 years into the past. Back into the 7th century in Japan, when the Heian period, the Nara and Heian period, were going on. I was kind of afraid of that strike right there. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a weird mix of history and gameplay, but I'll do my best. I'm sure I'll get more used to it as we go along. But in the late 6th century, I guess, 680s or so, the clan known as the Soga were the strongest clan in Japan, and they served a very big part in ruling Japan via regencies. They kept leading Japan as regents, and apparently they even had so much power that they managed to get 2 female emperors, aka empresses, onto the throne of Japan at the time. In fact, I even read somewhere that supposedly the the head goddess of the Shinto religion, aka Amaterasu, used to be a male god, a male deity, but due to the Soga clan's strength and them continuously putting female leaders on top, or rather not continuously, but they got like 2 or 3 female leaders on top, that they were actually the ones that warped the Japanese mythology and changed Amaterasu into a female deity in order to, justify putting female empresses on the throne. I'm not sure if that's true. That was actually the first time I read that. Any mythology that I read, Amaterasu was always a female. But yeah, just a random, not really a fact, but just a random rumor, let's call it, floating about. Now, in order to negate this, so negate the strength of the Soga clan, the crown prince at the time, called Nakano Oe. To explain, if I tell a name and you hear this no in between, like Kiyomori no Taika, not Taika, Kiyomori no Taira, there we go, Taira, or Yoritomo no Minamoto, etc. That no essentially just represents, even in today's Japanese grammar, represents belonging to someone. Like if you belong in, if you're a worker in Nissan or something, you present yourself as, I don't know, your name is Tanaka and you work for Nissan, you say Nissan no Tanaka. And when you use this in the manner of, using your name and then your clan, you are essentially putting yourself, you're essentially saying that you belong to a clan. Nowadays, we would just say that that's your surname. You know, instead of saying, I don't know, for instance, well, let me just take one of the historical names from here. Minamoto no Yoritomo. Instead of saying Minamoto no Yoritomo, you would just say Minamoto Yoritomo, because it literally means you belong to that family, aka this is your surname. But back then, they kept using this no in between. So, Prince Nakano-Oe, let me just take the prisoners while I'm explaining this. Prince Nakano-Oe, together with his friend, Nakatomi no Kamatari, staged a coup where they basically killed the Empress, or chased her out, and killed most of the Soga heads, or rather, a lot of the Soga heads also just committed suicide, so to speak. Not so to speak, they did, and their estates were burned down and everything. But essentially, Prince Nakano-Oe gained power via that. How many troops are in? Oh god, that's almost 300 units. Huh. Let's check Komaki Castle. Let's just scout out Komaki Castle. Perhaps there are fewer defenders in there. Just to be safe. Let's check. Yeah, that's 113. You know what we're gonna do? We're actually gonna tell Goemon to start assembling the army. And while the army begins assembling, we are going to go and besiege Komaki Castle. And hopefully some of the army might reach us by the time we go and besiege Naiki Castle as well. But yeah, Prince Nakano-Oe took power from the Soga clan and basically returned all of the power to the Emperor, or so he thought, because he allowed Nakatomi no Kamatari to change his surname. He gave him a new surname. He changed it from Nakatomi to Fujiwara. Now, I'm pretty sure that I mentioned the Fujiwara clan in the past in this series, and yes, this is the same Fujiwara clan. This is the clan that eventually dwarfed the Soga clan as far as how much control they had over the emperors. They started to rule Japan via the titles of Sessho and Kanpaku. Now, both of these words, both of these titles mean basically the same thing. They both mean regent. However, the type of regency is different. Why? I said wait until tomorrow because I wanted morning. Thank you very much. Muchas. Lead your soldiers in an assault. You see, Sessho means regent for, basically regent for a underage emperor. So if you are a Sessho, you will stay a regent for as long as the current emperor is underage. But as soon as the current emperor comes of age, you are expected to abdicate that position. You are no longer regent for that emperor. However, Kanpaku serves as more than just a regent. It does mean regent, but you essentially also rule, or rather help, the emperor by being his first secretary, so like a chief advisor in a way. And as such, you are able to stay as regent even after the emperor comes of age. So basically, they were first Sessho, and once the emperor came of age, they became Kanpakus. And by doing so, they kept most of the power in Japan under their thumbs. Now the thing gets a little bit complicated, but I'm gonna try and keep things as simple as possible. Now, in order to combat this system, so the system of the Fujiwara essentially keeping all of the power for themselves, Emperor Shirakawa enacted the no, wait, the reform was later, sorry. He enacted a system of Insei, as it is nowadays called. That basically meant that the current emperor would abdicate, but still rule from the background. So he would essentially rule as regent for the current emperor. Whether underage or not, he was actually the one that was in power. Now here's the thing. When Emperor Shirakawa abdicated, he put his son, Emperor Toba, on the throne. And Emperor Toba had, well, as most emperors at the time did, Emperor Toba as well had concubines, or rather, at least one concubine is mentioned in this history that I've read. Because with his wife, he had a son. The son that would eventually become Emperor Sutoku. Now here's the thing. Emperor Toba was kind of reluctant of making his son into an emperor, giving him actual power. The reason for that is because he knew that his wife was strangely intimate and strangely close to his father, Emperor Shirakawa. And he assumed, or rather, not assumed, but made a calculating guess that his son, Emperor Sutoku, was actually his illegitimate uncle, if you can imagine that. Now, because of that, he favored the son that he had with his concubine. This son was eventually known as Emperor Konoe. He basically forced his actual son, or rather not actual son, but his son that he had with his wife, so Emperor Sutoku, to abdicate, and gave all of the power to his son by his concubine, Emperor Konoe. Now, Emperor Toba and Emperor Konoe both died relatively close to each other. And here's when the thing got kind of chaosy, because Emperor Sutoku, aka the Emperor, you know, by the actual, by his wife, believed that once both Toba and Konoe died, that he would come to power. However, the concubine, together with her supporters, managed to elevate another one of her sons, or I'm not sure if it was her son, but basically another emperor that was not Emperor Sutoku. This son, or rather this emperor, was known as Go Shirakawa, so I don't know if I should call him GS from this point on. I'll just keep calling him Go Shirakawa. Now, Emperor Go Shirakawa, fearing a coup from the, you know, from his, I guess, stepmother at this point, actually started courting some of the samurai leaders. And when he felt he had enough support from the actual samurai leaders, who, by the way, samurai at this time were essentially just that, they were samurai, they were military leaders, nothing else. They did not hold as much power as they did in the Sengoku Jidai, or any of the shogunates, really. Back to the story. Emperor Go Shirakawa managed to, initiate the so-called Hogen Rebellion, when he essentially ousted the Fujiwara, ousted the wife's family. Let me just... There we go. He ousted the wife's family. The Fujiwara family was very, very weak, and they did not hold as much power as they did before. And the samurai, thanks to their participation in this rebellion, were granted a lot, and I mean a lot, of power. Now, another reason the samurai gained power was because during the Heian period, many will know the Heian period as the golden age of Japanese art, of Japanese culture, and such. And it really was. And that's because most of the nobility was living in Kyoto and just focusing on that. Literally only on that. Only on culture, only on making life as easy for themselves as possible. While they left governors on their actual lands. Now, these governors, you know, they gained a lot of power, and a lot of these governors were military officials, aka samurai. Now, after the Hogan Rebellion, the samurai gained even more power. They were actually granted a lot of the lands that they were already governing, basically. And what furthered their power even more than that was much weaker, was what happened next. Because you see, after that, the Taira and Minamoto families, two very strong samurai clans, became very, very powerful. Now, essentially, more or less the same thing happened once again as happened with the whole Hogan rebellion, or rather not Hogan Rebellion, or rather, yes, the Hogan Rebellion. There was a dispute about who would have total control of the Emperor dynasty. And as such, one side started courting the Taira clan, the other side started courting the Minamoto clan. And out of this courting and out of this eventual conflict came the so-called Genpei War. Now, the Genpei War, if you put the two kanji together, the two kanjis are essentially the clans Taira and Heike, or rather Taira and Minamoto. That's basically the kanji that they were going by. Magic Garrison, sorry, I'm still kind of finding it hard to do this sort of half narraty, half gameplay-y thing over here, but I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure I'll get better as we go on. And out of this Genpei War, like, I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I cover the Genpei War a bit more in the next episode? Or not? Tell me what you guys think, because the Genpei War was a very, very, very big catalyst for how the samurai also came to power. Of course, this was the war between the Taira and Minamoto. In general, I can just tell you a quick summary of it. First, the Taira clan won, but the Minamoto clan heads were essentially left alone, and they started going about getting more and more support for their own cause, for their own power, and eventually came back, beat the Taira clan, and basically the leader of the Minamoto clan at the time, Yoritomo no Miyamoto, aka Minamoto Yoritomo, became, or rather was given, the position of Seikai Shogun by the emperor at the time. Now, I'm very sorry that this episode will probably be a little bit shorter than you guys are probably used to, but I was going to record this and record a couple of other things as well. I did ask you a couple of questions in this episode, and I would love to hear your answers before I actually start recording the next episode. So yeah, the two questions are, what do you guys think? Should we recruit at least like 2 or 3 of the calculating lords or not? And the second question, what do you guys think about the historic aspect here? Should I know we're not talking about the Sengoku period yet, but the Genpei War essentially started the whole shogunate system. After the Genpei War is when the Kamakura shogunate was founded. And what do you guys think? Should I go a little bit more into the details about how the Genpei War actually went down, or is the generalized history that I just gave you enough? And we just go from there into the next episode and just start with the actual shogunate. Tell me what you guys think, and as always, thank you very much for joining me. I have been Kaiser. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, comment down below, answer the questions, and I will see you guys next time. And until then, ad gloriam.